Before delving into the relevance of the study of Western civilization, it is first important to identify what the West actually is, according to historians. This question is much harder to answer than many would believe, as historians do not agree on definitions of Western civilization. A review of R. Palmer's History of the Modern World finds that he believed the West centered around the Mediterranean, while others identified Germany as the beginning of the West. Frank Roy Willis points to Europe as the start of Western civilization, stating that Europeans then carried their beliefs to other areas of the world as they colonized. However, one thing that historians do agree on is that the concept of civilization is the West is the development of a civil society. As the world becomes more globalized, there are many who feel there is no longer a need to center on Western civilization's history, as it mainly focuses on Europe and the United States. However, research into what defines the West, how the history of Western civilization created the world we live in today, and how it continues to impact our lives demonstrate that it is still important. Western traditions lay the foundation for many of the institutions today, as well as the efforts by some to reshape them. By studying the history of Western civilization, we gain an understanding of the political, judicial, religious, and cultural systems that exist today. The United States legislative system alone reflects just how important an understanding of the history of Western civilization is, as it represents a radical idea for that era. The thought that the people could rule themselves and that they did not need hereditary kingship to do so was unheard of. But the success of the United States led to many nations who now have free and fair elections, open education, and cultural expression, along with fair judicial processes and religious tolerance. As an example, liberalism has a strong foundation in Western civilization when it comes to a focus on social reform. The presidency of Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a turning point in Western civilization history, as his social reform efforts were new globally, not just in the United States. Therefore, when discussing the impact of social reform and liberalism, a review of FDR's presidency and its history is critical. Western civilization also has strong roots in Judeo-Christian traditions, which requires an understanding of how those traditions led to civilization as we know it today. The Enlightenment is an era of history where religious beliefs impacted the laws created, but it also pushed people to question the divine law of kings. Even the United States Constitution has a basis in history, as the primary author, James Madison, included classical ideas presented by Bacon, Locke, and Descartes. The Western educational system has strong roots in those beliefs as well, as it was the first time people began to recognize that an educated society was a healthy society. The history of Western civilization is complex, important, and more unique than other historical eras, as it created today's modern world, but used historical values and beliefs to create the foundation that we know today. There is no question that the study of Western civilization truly gives meaning to the statement that those who fail to learn history are destined to repeat it. For this reason, the study of Western civilization is critical and important to understanding almost every era of history before it and after it.